right, ready to get started?
Looks like we've already started.
Yeah, I've started doing the trick of just hitting record instantly as soon as we're sitting.
Shit. Okay, well...
I gotta get those tasty audio nuggets of us trying to go... Ow, ow.
I know, I sounded like a dolphin dog. I was like, row, row. I don't know what that noise was.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another adventure of the Real Comic Heroes podcast. I'm Travis.
And I'm Patrick, here with another fantastical ape tale for you.
That's right. Apes don't have tails.
They don't?
Nope.
What?
That's what separates them from chimpanzees or monkeys.
Wait. Mind just blown. I thought the, not the chimpanzees, but the...
Orangutans?
No, yeah, actually the chimpanzees. I thought they had tails.
No.
Who the hell has tails?
Like capuchin monkeys and rhesus monkeys and...
Rhesus monkeys. Of the Feces tribe?
Yeah, the PCs. the PCs species.
Nice. PC species.
No, that's what
Nice.
separates the great apes from the lower primates is tails. It's not the only thing that separates
Very
them,
disappointed.
but, yeah.
I guess I did know that, but for some reason, when I see a chimpanzee's face, I think tail.
You think tail? Yeah. Yeah.
God, what is that? God, I'm horrible. Horrible apist.
Yeah.
Or ape
You
monkeyist.
dirty
I don't
primate.
know. Primatist? I don't know.
Speciesist.
Oh, whatever. That's not fair. Your dad's involved with zoo stuff.
Yeah.
He's the one, training them to take over the world, isn't he?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, man. So when the apes take over, we know to blame Travis's dad.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Way to go. Well, back to out of reality and back into the world of science fiction. Or is it going to be reality? Yes. So we got 1971's
Yeah.
Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, yeah, I guess we should mention that's what we're talking about. If you haven't guessed already, it's another ape movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's what got us on this whole
Yeah, we got
trajectory.
distracted.
Yeah.
Short attention span. Okay, so I was glad to see that somebody escaped the planet.
Yes.
And that the previous movie wasn't a complete and total bummer.
Right. There was a...
I still don't understand how they got the ship out of the water.
Science. They threw some science at it.
Maybe it was just they drained to the lake somehow.
Sure. I'm going with the low tide option of maybe the tip was poking out and that's right.
Just the tip.
Just the tip was poking
Okay.
out, yeah. And Milo, who was one of the apes we meet, somehow got it out of the water. And
I'm gonna go with the Star Wars Yoda method, where they just use the Force.
oh, how badass would that be? Seeing an ape with the Force and a lightsaber.
Intelligent and has the Force.
Yeah, that's a dangerous combination.
Yeah, you're welcome, Star Wars.
You hear us, JJ? In the sequel,
Oh, that'd be
we
awesome.
want some apes.
Zira. I could see Zira doing that.
Yeah.
She's strong-willed. Mm-hmm. Although Cornelius stepped up his game in this movie.
That's right. See, now you know why I like Cornelius quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, it only took him 3 movies to get on the
Yeah,
ball.
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. He's a late bloomer. He
He's a
needed the
late
right
bloomer.
motivation.
He needed enough trauma to... He's like a superhero.
That's right. Yeah, he
Like
needed to
Spider-Man.
get broken down
Yeah.
for him to rise and become the hero I knew he would be.
Cornelius.
Gotta work on that name.
Yeah. Okay, so...
So yeah,
Man, this is going to be a distracted podcast.
yeah, I think we can just kind of jump around with this one.
Oh, yeah.
But the movie opens pretty much, well, not where the last one left off, but it opens up with, the sound of a helicopter, which is, if you're watching this for the first time, it's kind of like, why is there a helicopter in the ape? Like, I guess, was this the first time you had ever seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what did you think?
Well, when I heard Escape from the Planet of the Apes, I assumed they had escaped back to our time or 1970s.
Sure. We'll say our time.
Just because I figured people would want to see what if it was in reverse.
Okay. So you kind of knew that going in that it was...
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to escape to another planet and it was run by chameleons or something. I don't... Although that'd be cool. Man,
damn it!
Why am I so good at
all these tangents? That's it. We're moving to Hollywood.
See, I blame that though on watching Jurassic World because it has chameleon abilities to blend in.
Right. Yeah.
That Megasaurus or whatever it is. They had a weird name for it.
Oh, not Imperius. Is it Imperius Rex? Indominus Rex.
Indominus Rex.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the movie.
Yeah, so helicopter.
I remember the spaceship sitting there.
Yeah,
I assumed it was gonna be the other dude's spaceship.
Brent.
Yeah, because that was easily accessible.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how damaged that was since it hit land, it looked like.
It looked pretty wrecked, and the tail section of Brent's ship looked completely destroyed. Like, there were girders sticking out in the air, and, like, half of it was, like, caved in or, like, exploded out, it looked like. So, yeah, I'm thinking his was... Maybe if they found Brent's, maybe they used spare parts.
I was going to say, because the other one was underwater and filled with water.
Yeah, so as far as how the apes got the rocket out of the ocean,
it's just glossed over
completely, as well as how they flew it, they literally explain it as Dr. Milo was a genius. So,
basically, he's the ape MacGyver.
Yeah, / Einstein.
Yeah.
So
MacGyver, I'll take over Einstein.
Okay.
I don't think Einstein could have made 50 different ways to escape with toothpicks and
that's true.
Piece of string.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even do it on Mythbusters. That's how smart they are.
Right. That's true.
Come on. But
could Mythbusters repair a rocket and go back through time?
Maybe. All right, tangent number 15.
Back to apes. Okay, so
this
apes...
is for the younger generation with no attention span, I think.
That's right, yeah. So the apes, 3 astronauts crawl out of this, salvaged rocket that they've towed onto the shore.
Yeah, luckily they found spacesuits.
Yeah, well, I'm
guessing they were still in there.
I'm guessing, they'd have a small supply of extra suits for Taylor and his crew. They all standing there on the beach. It's kind of a cool, creepy shot of the 3 astronauts with the mirrored
visor thing.
Visors, and then they got all your military guys standing, shoulder to shoulder on the beach, like in salute form, and
they're assuming that they're U.S. astronauts because it's the Taylor's ship,
and that's weird because the general, I think they say, addresses them and says, "Welcome to the United States." Like, does he think they're aliens?
No, maybe he's just saying, so they know where they are.
It was weird though, because if they're assuming it's Taylor and his crew, why would they say "Welcome to the United States"? Why not say, "Hey Taylor, welcome back," or "Glad you're home," or something like that?
They're very formal.
I guess.
Because in the same stroke, you could say, why would you say United States to some aliens? Like, they're going to know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, so I don't know who he thinks he's addressing, is, I guess, what. But minor, thing. Moving forward.
I do like the one guy in the middle.
Yeah.
His expression when the helmets come off and he sees the apes. He's just like, ooh. Mouth agape.
Oh, yeah,
He's sort of like a bumbling general, it seems like, or whatever his rank is.
Yeah.
But goes into the part that I thought was really weird.
Yeah.
I thought they'd be a little more secretive.
Right.
And they're just parading them around.
Yeah.
No helmet.
They take them back to base. And maybe that's just a military thing that,
I don't know. It just seemed weird.
It was weird.
I was like, where's Area 51 or whatever?
Right.
I mean, you'd think there'd be like a secret lockdown base somewhere.
Have them bagged and tagged and have hoods on them or,
I mean, the whole movie, it's sort of like painting the humans as pretty understanding in comparison to the apes and the humans.
Yeah, it is interesting that rather than be quiet about the whole thing, like once the apes start to speak, they're pretty much like, well, we're just going to let the press know right away. And so
we can't keep this a secret.
Yeah, it is interesting, I guess, I don't know that we would do that. If we found an alien or some kind of other intelligent life form, there's no way they would parade him around like they did in this movie. But it works for the movie,
I mean, I could see if it happened, like the reveal happened in a public place.
Right, yeah.
But it was pretty much the military.
Down. Yeah.
And it just made no sense as to why they had to divulge it and so freaking quick, too.
Yeah. I mean, I think purely to get the story moving,
I guess. I thought it was going to be more like Taylor's experience where he's locked up and they try to escape. But they were sort of paraded around like celebrities.
I kind of like that part of the movie, that they get their 15 minutes of fame. They're treated like celebrities. They're being they're having parties at their hotel and... taking him out on the town, getting him clothes.
That was a weird montage.
I kind of like it. The music is terrible, but I do like that part of the movie.
I remember thinking that when he had the suit on, Cornelius, he kind of looked like Robin Williams. Like his hair.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
I don't know. I was just thinking it's a good thing it was the 70s and hairy dudes were accepted.
I almost expected like the next part of that little montage to be the ape, like start showing human men growing out big bushy sideburns,
like in
trying
solidarity.
to adopt, trying to adopt their style, that kind of thing.
Well, they kind of
see the women
did.
Start to do their hair like her, that kind of I would have expected a little bit more.
It was just a crazy amount of acceptance.
Yeah.
Like there is literally one guy in this movie that is doing what I'm pretty sure we would do.
Yes, yeah. Braden.
Even the president's not on board with this guy.
Otto Hasslein, which that is...
German much?
Yes, very German. And in the first two movies, when they explain how they went through a bend in time, they call it the Hasslein curve. That's after this guy.
Nice.
So that they planted the seeds of this guy's name, probably without realizing that they would end up using him later, but kind of a nice little tie-in.
I don't know if it was just this. I just noticed really, especially when Milo was doing his monologue in the cage at the zoo, that the mask looked awful to me. Like the mouth seemed super stiff.
I think...
I don't know if I was just looking for it this time, but...
Could be. I think, especially on Milo, it was the actor Sal Mineo, who, from what I read, was going to be in the movie a little bit longer, but he got really claustrophobic in the makeup. He really didn't take to it very well. So I think he probably looked a little stiff because he didn't have 2 movies of experience,
Makes sense.
Of knowing how to operate the face, kind of.
Like exaggerated... talking.
Yeah, they only had to do ape makeup for 3 apes for this movie. So as far as Zira, Cornelius, and Milo go, I think they look as good.
Wasn't really in it much.
Yeah, so I think all their makeup budget went to them.
Yeah,
so it looked a little bit better. But I was really let down by the way the gorilla looked.
Oh yeah,
like that was a really, really bad gorilla. Like why not just take basically the same makeup and costume that you got from General Ursus from Beneath when they're in the sauna, because they've got a full body costume. Why not basically make it like that? So I was really let down to see the gorilla and see how bad it looked.
It looked like if you'd ever seen Trading Places with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, very much that store-bought gorilla costume is what it...
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And it was so small, you could tell it was a human in there.
Right. Yeah, it was very large. Tiny. Yeah, that kind of let me down.
You could at least get a huge guy in there.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. I did like the other chimpanzee later in the movie, in the circus.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't bad.
Looked pretty good.
Yeah,
for having it mostly in the shadow, and most of its scenes look pretty good for a.
And then they had the real baby chimpanzee.
That helps, yeah. Let's see.
I'm sort of jumping around a bit here.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
But, the talking about Milo's death.
Yeah.
It was the creepiest, weird animal scream montage.
I know,
when he
yeah.
died, like of all the animals in the zoo.
Yeah, like
somehow new.
Yeah, like it sent out maybe the.
I don't know.
Instinctively, the other animals picked up on
his scream.
Yeah,
yeah, because you can't hear his scream; you just hear all the other animals.
Yeah, just a big like din of all of these animals: elephant, lion, all of them roaring, and
it wasn't clear why it attacked him.
Well, they said earlier it wasn't feeling well, and from what I read, it was depressed, and so it just lashed out. And it's a animal in a cage. It's going to be. We've seen enough of the blackfish and all that,
And the gorilla's pretty aggressive, I guess.
Yeah,
at least in this world.
Yeah. So we've now it makes sense that an animal in a cage is going to lash out at any chance it gets. Let's see. They did mention when they have recovered the spacecraft that it had been missing for 2 years. So I think it's kind of nice to know.
Yeah, it's like a little wormhole.
Yeah.
Not perfect return to
right, because they end up in 1973, whereas the movie came out in 71. Yeah. So it is technically set in the future, but only 2 years. So, but it's kind of nice to know that. I mean, in the last in Beneath, we weren't really clear on how much time had passed, that kind of thing. So somewhere in around 2 years had kind of gone on, I guess.
Yeah, well, from Earth time. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because it's time travel and
that's true. And
pretty fluid.
Yeah. Let's see. I really like the scene when they first arrive at the military base and they're feeding them oranges, and the guy's giving Cornelius a couple oranges, and they just do what they do. They set up plates and knife and fork, and they sit down to kind of basically have a meal together, and it's just astonishing to the humans that. They don't know what to make of it.
Yeah.
It's a really funny scene, I think.
Well, at first they thought they were just mimicking humans. They thought Taylor was mimicking them.
Yeah. It's a nice flip flop, and the movie does that pretty much throughout.
I think that's what people wanted to see is like how it would be in reverse, but
it's a smart way to do a sequel, I think.
Yeah. Because I'm sure everyone that saw these at the time was probably thinking, what would it be like in reverse if apes came to us instead of us going to them? Mm-hmm. And then I like the, although it is odd to eat an orange with a plate, fork, and knife, I would have been suspicious right there.
Yeah.
These people mean us harm. Or apes mean us harm. They're too civilized.
That's right.
But I like the whole testing he does with her, with Zira.
Mm-hmm. The blocks. Yeah, that's a funny scene.
And then the stairs, and then she just looks at the banana and...
Why doesn't she take it?
The big reveal.
Yep.
Well, why doesn't she take it? Because I loathe bananas. Zira!
What did she say? I bloody hate bananas or something?
No, she says, because I loathe bananas.
Yeah.
Which, from what I read, was a kind of an inside joke that on set it was hard to eat in the makeup, so a lot of people ate bananas, and Kim Hunter, who plays Zira, hated bananas. So it was kind of an inside joke with,
So they could only eat
set.
like bananas, hot dogs.
Yeah, exactly what you'd expect. Corn dogs.
As Superbad, only penis-shaped foods.
Yeah. Various meats on stick.
Yeah. I love that part of Superbad where he gets busted for his drawings and he has to stay away from any penis-shaped food.
Yeah. That movie's so fun.
Anyway, tangent number 16.
Yeah. Let's see. Pretty quick they get involved in a presidential inquiry.
Yeah, and it goes a lot better than Taylor's.
Yeah, it's kind of meant to mirror the tribunal that Taylor had to go through, but it's... they're at least given the opportunity to speak and respond, and
people are way too rational.
Yeah,
I don't believe it.
Yeah,
they're like, well, we would do the same. We do the same to animals today.
Yeah,
so if humans are like animals, so I don't know. It's weird.
But I like that they address the fact, later on in the movie, one of the secret. What is the? They're not a tribunal. They're later on when they're having
Committee.
One of their committee. They're having one of their committee meetings, and he says that we can't judge them, or we can't. We have to understand that what they've done to humans is what we've done to apes and other animals.
Yeah.
So I do like that they address that.
Yeah.
But then they also make sure to say, if this information got out to the public, the public wouldn't understand or wouldn't take it like...
Yeah, which so far doesn't seem to be the case. Everyone seems to be taking it really well.
Yeah, but they don't know, what this committee knows. So
I feel like the movie was made by kind of hippie-ish people because everyone's about understanding.
Yeah, and
like it's like an ideal view of humans, except for
and that's a good point.
Otto.
Yeah, because Otto then becomes the villain. Because he's the one that sees through all this stuff, and he's the one that has a genuine concern for mankind's survival, and he sees these apes as a threat right away.
I know. The president's like,
we won't be in office, so it doesn't matter. Yeah,
it's like 3,000 years away. We're good.
Whatever.
2,000 years away.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very nonchalant about it, but Otto was more worried about... He mentioned a cool part that I was unaware of, that a smart ape could breed with a dumb ape.
Yeah.
And create a smart ape.
Right. I think that's kind of interesting.
Because at first I thought it was going to be like an Adam and Eve kind of
thing.
But
no, it makes sense, and you start to open up the paradox, of essentially Zira and Cornelius are their own ancestors. In a Futurama, Fry is his own grandfather kind of way. You sick degenerate. But it's one of those that none of this could have happened if these guys didn't come back from the future. So it's
Yeah, and I think they instead of plutonium, they had a atomic explosion that helped them get into the past.
Yeah, they did say that.
They saw
maybe it wasn't in here,
or like a bright light.
They saw the bright light,
tornado or something.
Tornado of fire. Yeah. I read in just researching the movie, they did Marvel Comics did some comics around the time of the movie, and actually had a couple scenes of them in the rocket that would have been in the movie, but they for some reason cut it. They wanted the reveal on the beach to be the first time you saw the apes, so they cut the rocket footage. But Marvel Comics did some issues where they showed what happened, and they said something about that explosion of the planet sent a shockwave through the ship, kind of
like Fantastic Four style,
something like that. And that's probably what helped send them back in time.
Yeah.
And again, it's like you have to treat the time travel in this whole franchise as it just happens. There's no
it just
you
is.
Can't. It just is.
Yeah.
Actually, at one point in the movie, Otto he understands that they have come back from the future, so he's explaining it, on a interview on TV just to explain to the public, which is handled very strangely because he starts by explaining if you have a painter who's painting a painting of a landscape, but then that painter paints the same,
it's basically
landscape
painting himself,
with
painting
himself
a landscape, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so they do this, like, they keep backing out, like, the painter paints himself, painting himself, and like that gets a little weird. And he's trying to explain the concept of an infinity and parallel universes. So I don't know what kind of what purpose that serves. Yeah, but he then goes on to explain how time can be like a highway with multiple lanes.
You would perceive, Mr. Bonds, that time is like a freeway with an infinite number of lanes, all leading from the past into the future, however, not into the same future. A driver in lane A may crash while a driver in lane B survives. It follows that a driver, by changing lanes, can change his future.
So it sounds like it's more about like kind of like in Back to the Future where it branches off.
Yeah.
Like there's different versions of a similar universe.
Yeah, so his main concern is how to stop, what he, I guess, assumes from the beginning, that these apes are no good and that they could be the downfall of humanity. So his main concern and his main motivation throughout the entire movie is, can we prevent a possible, downfall of mankind? So,
well, they told them how it happened, so just don't get ape pets. Come on. It's essentially how it happened.
Yeah, and I love, later on Cornelius is explaining how this happens, and I love it. It's
Well, it began in our prehistory with the plague that fell upon dogs.
And cats.
Hundreds and thousands of them died, and hundreds and thousands of them had to be destroyed in order to prevent the spread of infection.
There were dog bonfires.
Yes, and by the time the plague was contained, man was without pets. Now, of course, for man, this was intolerable. I mean, he might kill his brother, but he could not kill his dog. So, humans took primitive apes as pets.
And, mankind just
needs
companionship, needs animal,
Yeah, they said something about how he'll kill his brother, but
he won't kill his dog.
Won't kill his dog.
Yeah. Essentially the, humans in the future, they started taking apes, early primitive apes as pets. So you probably
kept them in
can
cages,
imagine, a lot of chimps, a lot of small chimps as pets, which, and then eventually they become, hey, we can give them small tasks to do, like cleaning the house, or eventually going to the grocery store, or taking, waiting tables, that kind of thing. So
what did they say? It was like apes were 20 times smarter than dogs and cats.
Yeah.
So they were able to, within a couple hundred years, evolve and start doing those tasks.
Eventually
realizing their place.
They're slaves.
Yeah.
And it's a story we've seen a bunch of times. Like, you think about, it's not a great movie, but I, Robot, it's kind of the same thing, where the robots do all the menial labor, and then eventually one realizes that they're slaves, that kind of thing, and they lead so same thing here.
Robot means slave. I learned that from World's
End.
Oh, that's where I learned it from. I'm sure it's from something else.
I'm sure something much
much more profound came up with that.
That's funny. Cornelius explains that eventually one ape among all the apes, said his name was Aldo.
I know. I was like, really?
Yeah, I wanted him to say his name was Caesar, but that.
I don't know. It should have been Fido.
Fido. Yeah.
So he's replacing a dog.
Yeah. So one day,
Well, actually, I thought the baby ape was going to be called Caesar.
I think he is in the next movie. I think Armando, renames him because he knows. Well, I guess no one would have known that it was baby
Unless they
Milo.
knew the name of the other ape.
They did.
Died.
They knew the name of Dr. Milo, so they probably would have been too coincidental. Okay. So I think in the next movie, Armando renames him Caesar.
I was thinking Caesar or Taylor.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of weird that they didn't name him Taylor, but
they went after some dude we met for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So we sort of talked about the origin.
Right.
Story.
Yeah. That's right. One day, Aldo said no, and that completely changed everything.
Well, they became alert to the concept of slavery. And as their numbers grew, to slavery's antidote, which, of course, is unity. Well, at first they began assembling in small groups. They learned the art of corporate and militant action. They learned to refuse. At first, they just grunted their refusal. But then, on an historic day which is commemorated by my species and fully documented in the sacred scrolls, there came Aldo. He did not grunt. He articulated. He spoke a word which had been spoken to him all time without number by humans. He said, no.
Then everyone else started talking.
Yeah,
no. Because before then they dissented with grunts, and he's the one that verbalized it.
Yeah. So that's something that's going to be interesting we get, I think, some of that in the next movie.
Is it the next one, Return to the Planet of the Apes?
No, Return was the TV show, I think, or it might have been the animated series. The next one is Battle 4.
So they must go. I don't know how that's going to work since they're both allegedly, gone.
I remember how it starts, and it's really interesting.
More time travel?
No, they don't. They don't do any more time travel.
Okay.
In the series, from what I can remember, from at least for these. I think I've said it before. I do not remember the 5th movie, Conquest of, but so I can't say exactly what happens in that one because I don't know that I've ever seen that one. But I do remember the next one quite a bit, and it's pretty awesome where it goes from the end of Escape.
I was gonna say the beat of this movie is very up. It's like happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's because the last movie ended on such a downer.
Yeah, I think they wanted to really breathe a lot of life into this franchise, you know?
In comparison, it's like drastic.
Yeah.
Like, if it was darker, like, you know, their friend Milo got a lobotomy, like,
oh, yeah.
You know, turnabout's fair play.
Yeah, I think it would have been a mistake to try and mirror the original movie
Again.
too close. Yeah, because it wouldn't have been fun to see, you know, them kept in, I mean, and they kind of are kept in cages throughout a lot of it, and they do escape. So it is, I guess, quite a bit like Planet of the Apes.
That's to be expected, but their the reaction the world has to them as opposed to Taylor's drastically different, except for one guy.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me. Only one guy was
The
all
voice
about.
well, and he did have like lackeys that were helping.
Oh yeah, that one dude that
helping
always there as
question.
yes man.
And, yeah, so he did have some. You know, there were others, but it was mainly this one guy versus.
Yeah, the doctors were kind of forgettable.
You mean the like
psychiatrist?
Lewis and,
yeah.
I like them.
The Zira Cornelius counterparts.
Yeah. Dr. Lewis Dixon is an animal psychiatrist, so he's just like Zira, essentially. And then you have Stephanie, I don't remember what her last name was. Stevie, they call her in the movie. Yeah. And she was one of the blonde mutant from Beneath. Same actress, the one that commits suicide. So
it's the glasses that threw me.
And from what I've read, she goes on to be in the other movies as an ape. Like, she gets into the ape makeup. So she's in a bunch of these movies, you know.
Nice.
Let's see. But no, I kind of like Lewis in this movie. He's
all right.
Really,
I just think Otto
sympathetic
stole the show.
Yeah. He was definitely a kind of a captivating. Like, why do you hate them so much? You know, but it's kind of like Zaius in the first movie. Like, he wants to suppress the information, and he wants to.
Yeah, it's another prophecy.
Yeah,
only this one, I mean, technically it's still a prophecy because it hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm. I love the scene with Otto and the president when they're talking about, when Otto kind of reveals all the information he has to this point to the president, and they're discussing it. And I like the president in the movie because he is, he doesn't jump to conclusions, and he's like willing to let these apes just, like let them live and let's see what happens. They seem to be really nice people, so maybe their offspring will be nice, and maybe they'll do a better job than humanity has. So he's very go with the flow. So it's kind of nice to see that. Normally your president character is always
blow him
poorly informed and just hair trigger. But then you've got Otto and him talking about the whole baby Hitler thing. Do we have the right to kill Zira and Cornelius's baby because it may one day be evil? So then, the president, I think, mentions
it's not even
the whole Hitler
evil.
thing.
It's just evolved to take over the planet.
But Otto, he says, I think they may be evil. Like, he literally says that he sees evil in them. So,
I mean, I would too if I was getting a lobotomy from.
Yeah.
I think isn't that what freaks him out after he gets her drunk on grape plus juice?
Yeah, because she says...
She mentions, like, experimenting on humans, or... No,
at that point, no. She
almost says dissect?
Well, that was in the first inquiry. Okay. Or second inquiry.
I'm thinking back to the tape that he's playing.
Yeah, the tape he's playing just confirms that they escaped the planet, and it was destroyed in a war between apes and or gorillas and someone.
Yeah.
So he takes that information to the president, lets him know, hey, our planet is going to be destroyed by apes, or apes who have become the dominant species. So that's what kicks off their whole discussion, and bringing up the baby Hitler argument, which I think is really interesting because right now in 2015, Like, they've just been talking about... Someone asked Jeb Bush, would you go back and kill baby Hitler? And he said, yeah. He said yes. So it's interesting, like, just it happened to be... That same argument happened to be in the kind of news right at the time that we're watching this movie.
Well, that all depends on, I guess, your view of nature versus nurture.
Right. Because I think the only answer is, no, you wouldn't kill baby Hitler. You might take him away and raise him in another environment,
Yeah, have a nice Jewish family raise him.
Yeah. I mean,
Bam. Solved.
You're welcome,
You're welcome, alternate universe, where Hitler's still a baby.
Right.
So, I mean, that's assuming that he's just inherently evil.
Right. That's the whole argument, nature, nurture, that kind of thing. So, yeah, as it applies to Escape from the Planet of the Apes, Otto feels you can't let this baby grow up because it may one day, lead to the downfall of mankind.
And besides, it can't grow that mustache, so it's not going to be Ape
true.
Hitler.
Yeah.
Although
that hairstyle wouldn't look right.
Aldo is really close to Adolf.
Aldo Adolf.
Dun dun dun. Yeah. I just blew my own mind. Letters almost matching up.
Coincidence?
I think we'll find out that somehow they're genetically connected.
Right.
There's some kind of ape experiment with the Nazis. Hitler wanted to create a super army of apes.
I've heard of that before, that they were into all kinds of like weird experimentation.
Yeah, so I think it's plausible.
Yeah. You might be on
Again,
something.
thank you is in order. Seriously,
be
Hollywood
sure to address those emails to realcomicheroes@gmail.com, and I'll forward them right on to Patrick.
I'm just telling you. These are great B movies we were coming up with. Yeah. That right there is a B movie.
What if?
Anything with Nazis seems to be like a B movie, like zombie Nazis.
Oh, yeah.
What is it, zombie surf Nazis or something like that?
Yeah, zombie ninjas versus...
Yeah, there's always...
Surf Nazis versus ninjas or something like that, yeah.
I don't know. And there's like...
Maybe all these movies that we're coming up with in the future are getting made because of this right here.
Look at that. We're going to be...
So if someone busts through the door right now to kill us, to prevent this from happening,
they're like, your movies are
they
horrible.
sent someone back in time to stop us.
Your movies are the downfall of society.
Yeah.
We must stop you.
How's it work in Bill and Ted's? Like, if I'll just leave these keys over here behind the desk and I'll send myself a note. So let's see.
That's the most jacked up time travel movie.
It kind of makes sense.
I know.
Though. They're like, we'll just leave ourselves a note.
It's a phone booth. It's so weird.
Well, that was just a play on the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Just trying to...
Well, at the time I didn't know that, because when I saw it,
no.
I didn't know about Doctor Who, because it was a, what is it, from the 60s originally?
63, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, what? British?
Yeah.
They have TV?
We let them have TV?
Yeah. That email can go to Travis. All the British are coming after you. The British are coming.
Let's see.
Tangent 17.
I like it though.
Now we just gotta remember where the hell we were. We were talking about baby Hitler. And...
okay. So President and Otto were talking about, what do we do from here? Otto says he wants to question Zira further because he doesn't feel the committee did it properly. So that's when they shoo Zira and Cornelius.
They mean drugs.
Yes, exactly. They whisk away Cornelius and Zira off to another military base.
They're no longer in the luxurious hotel.
Right. They've said that they're going to release a statement saying that they need to rest and they need to go away, have some quiet time, basically, which really just means they're getting taken to a military base where no one can.
What should have happened from the get-go is now happening.
Yeah. So once they're there, they start to question them again, and that's where you get Cornelius explaining the whole dogs and cats thing, the pet, the reason why they, essentially became dominant. And then they take Zira into another room, give her sodium pentothal, which we kind of know is like a truth serum for questioning or whatever. And that's when, it's a really kind of a dark sad scene
this
when
is the part
she
where
gets
it twists.
questioned. Yeah, the movie really changes right here.
Yeah.
She starts answering his questions and explaining that she dissected, because they keep replaying that little snippet of audio from their first or second inquiry.
That's the tape I was thinking of.
Yeah, they play another tape because she says dissect and then quickly moved on to
examine,
operated examined. So they keep like pressing her for, why did you say dissect? Did you mean dissection? That kind of thing. And fully reveals that yes, she dissected many humans, tissues, blood samples, tendons,
everything.
eyeballs, frontal cortex, lobotomies. So it's a really she gives up everything, unfortunately. And that's when they cut back to the committee, and they've decided, once they have all this information, they determined that that the pregnancy should be prevented.
Yeah,
that's a nice way of saying, and that Zira and Cornelius should be sterilized so that they can have no further offspring. So really dark and really,
it went from happy montage music to
talking about sterilization,
killing babies,
killing babies, abortion, that kind of. That
I don't
still
know if
has
it's abortion or they're just going to take the child when it's born.
Oh, you think maybe let it go to term and then
not necessarily even kill it, but try to figure it out. Maybe.
Oh, I don't know. I guess I assumed. Maybe they couldn't do an abortion because maybe it's too late for that. But I assumed somehow kill it. I don't know if that means maybe in the womb or once it's born. I don't know. But you would think that they would. Any scientific community would let it be born so they could study the hell out of it, but
that's what the apes would have done to humans.
Exactly, yeah.
Because I remember they were trying to mate Taylor with,
so
Nova.
I'm sure they wanted to
understand the reproductive process, and although it should be the same as humans.
No, it's pretty dark.
Oh, yeah.
I do
this is where I think Cornelius
steps up, I like him defending, his wife and defending his race. He takes great offense when they're called monkeys and that kind of thing.
And then after they make that decision, a dude shows up with oranges.
Like,
don't trust him.
Yeah.
Those oranges got stuff in them or something.
No, he says...
Oh, come on, man. It's pure vitamin C. You better drink your soup and eat the oranges for the sake of that little monkey you got.
Cornelius, the fool out of my wife.
Cornelius flips out.
I still don't understand how he got a hole in the back of his head.
No, it doesn't make sense unless he fell back into a corner of a table. It's only
At first, I was thinking it was a frame up. Like I thought maybe Otto went back and punctured his head with something.
No, because they showed it immediately.
But
as soon as they leave the room, the camera moves down to the guy, and he's got a hole in the back of his head, which, who knows? I think he must have fell back into the corner of something. But kills the orderly or whoever he was. So they escape. So it is kind of, it does mirror the first movie. Yeah, they're on the loose.
I was hoping they were going to hotwire a car.
Oh, that'd be great. Apes can't drive.
I know. Hey, if they can hotwire a spaceship,
how can that be?
If they can hotwire a spaceship to take off, they can handle it.
Yeah. Well, that was all Milo. They explained that true. I don't know, Milo did it. Science.
So they are on the lamb, and she's ready to pop the baby out.
Yeah, so they're really slowed down, but fortunately Stevie is showing up to the base, and she's got, Cornelius was kind of hiding in the bushes and overheard them explain to Stevie hey, someone's been killed, which was the first Cornelius had realized it. He didn't know that he killed that guy. He thought he just knocked him down. He's like, I didn't mean to do it, that kind of thing. And he eventually flags down Stevie, gets in the car, and then it cuts to a great little segment of the movie. They cut to Armando's circus, and we get Ricardo Montalban, fucking Khan himself.
I wrote down Khan! Exclamation points. I was waiting for his chest plate to show up.
Yeah. Let's just undo that top button, Armando.
I thought he was going to be very passionate and rip his shirt open.
Yeah,
or
well,
something.
he's definitely passionate. And, like every line that he has in this movie is great. He starts off like he's being asked by Lewis, will you help us, that kind of thing, and he's like,
You are asking me to risk imprisonment for the sake of 2 fugitive apes? Well, the answer is 1,000 times yes. Oh, yes.
so let me get this straight. You want me to take in 2 fugitives, risk government persecution? He's like, my answer is 1,000 times yes. So he's very passionate about animals and then apes and especially chimps. And he later tells them,
Oh man, it gets weird. He says if man's to be dominated, it has to be by chimps or something.
Please let it be by apes or by
as intelligent as you or something.
that's what it was. I love the line. He's like, I like chimpanzees best among all apes, and you best of all chimpanzees.
Yeah.
So he's just
he's
all in, and he's the circus leader, ringleader, head of the circus that's in town.
He's Barnum and Bailey.
Yeah. And he introduces them to a chimp that they have in their circus.
Just had a baby.
Had a baby, Eloise, and she had just had a baby that they named Salome. And then they move on to helping Zira give birth because she's ready to pop.
She's trying to teach the new regular chimpanzee to say mama, and she's just practicing. Yeah, because Cornelius is like, it's useless.
Yeah, she's like, that a baby of 2 primitive apes will never learn to speak, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, not for another couple hundred years.
Yeah. We forgot to mention that while they were escaping, Zira took her suitcase or carpet bag or whatever and tossed it into an oil well. It was too much burden to try and carry the baby and it. Yeah. Or no.
Luckily they had a.
Oh, this was after
thing.
This.
Yeah, that's on their way.
That's right.
On the lam. It's at the beginning.
I was thinking of why they had to be on the run because they knew that once they were at the circus, Lewis informed them that they're going to be searching every zoo, every circus, any sanctuary,
where they could
within so many miles. So they knew they couldn't stay with the circus. So that's why they had to go on the run, and their plan is to escape, go on the run for a week, kind of let it all die down, and then they would meet back up with the circus and head to Florida with
the
Armando.
Everglades and start up a colony of sorts. But it gets to a point, and I knew as soon as Zira sat in the cage with the I knew there was going to be
pretty big giveaway.
Baby switch.
Yeah, she wants to say goodbye, kind of have a mother-to-mother moment kind of thing with Eloise, and it's pretty clear what's happening, that they're going to make a switch. So...
Even chimpanzees or apists, they're saying both their babies all look alike.
Yeah. Which...
or actually, maybe they're banking on humans to think that, now that I think about it.
Yeah. Let's see, they part ways from the circus and Armando and from Dixon and Stevie, and then they end up in some Dixon tells them, hey, if you go so many miles, there's an old oil tankers or old shipyard full of derelicts and old places that they can hide out inside of these old ships. So that's where they go. It's not really clear. See, that's when Otto finds or gets word that they found her suitcase.
Yeah, and I don't
near
understand
the oil field.
How he tracked them to that exact location.
I think once he's at the oil field, I think he takes a look around and he realizes that the shipyard is pretty close. So it might just be the best place to hide out is within distance. I'll go check there, I think.
He's got those monster binoculars.
Yeah. And so he's there. He spots Cornelius, who's looking for a clean place where Zira can nurse, baby Milo. They name.
Yeah. But before this part, Cornelius asks for a gun to put themselves out.
Yeah.
If it comes to that.
Yeah, which is, we thought in the previous movie, we thought that apes didn't really have a concept of suicide, but apparently
because
Cornelius
it seemed
does.
to weird out the gorilla.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a trick from the get-go. Like, he just wanted to have a gun.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I was unaware he knew about suicide.
Yeah. Let's see.
Because at no point did it seem like he was going to kill himself or she was going to kill herself.
Yeah, I can't imagine it going that way. I can't picture Cornelius actually going through with taking them all out.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about the ending and...
Yeah, there's a good old-fashioned chase around the ship.
Yeah, kind of goes on a little.
Each of them has a gun.
Yeah.
Except for Zira.
Yeah.
She's got the baby.
And it's a good chase. It's because you got this ship that they can do. They got a lot of hallways and corridors, and Cornelius is away looking for a clean area just for her to nurse, and then so he's away. So every little sound that Zira hears, it's like, what is that? I think she at one point lays down with the baby just to kind of take a nap.
Yeah. That's when Otto busts in like the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah. And he keeps saying, Zira, I want that baby.
I know. I want my baby back.
Chili's baby, my friend.
Barbecue sauce.
In my belly.
But,
sorry, we had to do that.
all the, cops and the army show up at once. It's like the old cavalry arriving too late.
But I think, even Otto was hiding.
Oh yeah,
from
he's
them.
Definitely not following the president's order to not kill them.
Yeah, so his plan is to kill them.
Yeah.
And
although I guess it's a little ambiguous because now Cornelius has killed somebody. So I don't know if he knows if he's got the okay to do this or not.
Yeah, he's kind of...
But the situation's kind of changed after that.
Sure.
But judging by the military and police, it seems like they're on the chimpanzee side.
Yeah, I think they just want to apprehend.
Yeah.
They just want to take them in so they can question.
Give them a fair trial.
Exactly. Well, they want to do due process. I mean, that would have been, any kind of manhunt. You would be...
Yeah, if
just they're trying to apprehend.
Treating them like they would a human, yeah.
Right. Which is kind of nice because, in the first movie, Taylor wouldn't have gotten that treatment,
See, if I'm sort of backtracking a little bit.
Sure.
I would have been not... I think everyone thinks that they're from the future and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is to it and that's why they can talk. But I would have immediately thought that it's a planet of apes out there in the universe. So it's like a scout team here to possibly invade or something.
That would have been an interesting play. You could have had, I think if you make this movie today, you'd cut to 30 different news channels, and one right wing is saying, "Oh, they're here to invade," and one liberal media side would say, "Oh, they're refugees, and we should help." So I think that'd be an interesting way to better show what the mass, reaction is to these apes.
Because most people would have thought alien if a
spaceship
showed up with apes.
Yeah,
I think the public would think,
for sure,
aliens.
Yeah.
I think that's more believable than time travel.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about it rationally.
But you do have the... They arrive in a ship that they know to be Taylor's.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's only been 2 years to them, so that's not too weird. I mean, they could have landed on a planet.
That's true. They go out in space. They could have been landed on another planet.
The time travel thing's a whole...
That's true.
Who knows how that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the mass, public opinion on all it. Although the president earlier says, the voting, shows that they are kind of beloved. So I'm sure once the media would find out that Cornelius killed someone, that would quickly change, the opinion. So we're back. We've got Otto. He's chasing Zira, trying to get the baby, and he. See, how does it play out? He shoots...
The baby gets a shot. Oh, no.
First, he shoots Zira.
She drops the baby on the ground.
Yeah. she stumbles, falls over. The baby's on the deck.
And he
yeah,
unloads.
Otto just puts like 3 shots into the little bundle that is the baby.
Yeah. And then Cornelius
guns
shoots down Otto. Mm-hmm. And then some random dude jumps the gun and kills Cornelius.
Yeah.
And that fall was pretty cool, where he fell from the top.
Just lands on the deck.
Yeah. Definitely broke his legs.
Yeah. And then you got a weird moment where, Zira's still alive and she takes the baby and throws it into the water, which I'm not sure why.
Don't know if she's trying to dispose of the fake Milo, maybe?
Hide that it's not really her. But to me, it's like, well, it's not like it just sank to the bottom like a stone and is impossible to recover. Like,
no.
I don't know why she... I would have rather seen her take the baby because she, Zira crawls over to Cornelius so that she can die with Cornelius. I would have rather seen her take the baby with, her and laid down as a family group instead of...
The only thing I can think of is that it's like they have some concept of burial at sea.
Maybe.
It's like a honorable burial or something.
I don't know.
It didn't make sense.
I think it is to cover up that it's not really their baby. And maybe this somehow is going to help further that deception. So that's, for me, it's unclear. I'm not...
Just shock? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't... I mean, either way, it didn't really affect me too much.
Yeah. So, in this movie, if this was the end of the movie, it would have been almost as bleak of an ending as the previous one with, the entire planet is destroyed.
Yeah. Cuts back to the circus with Khan and...
Armando, I think he's packing everything up or,
Yeah. And then he goes over and he's in on the switcheroo.
Yeah, he tells baby Milo, who we see in one of the cages, your mother and father... Says something about your mother.
They're smarts. I don't know. He says like the ape is smart, just like your mother and father, or something like that.
And I think is that when we see the medal that he gave Zira, the medal of Saint Francis Assisi, is on the baby inside the circus cage, and
patron saint of animal protection or something.
He was a lover of animals, that kind of thing. Not. God damn it. He was a friend to animals. Okay. All creatures great and small.
So that's how smart apes came to be. Human and ape?
Oh, no.
What if that was the story? That would be so weird.
Well, remember the last movie, there was supposed to be some footage that they dumped that was half human, half...
that's what made me think
half
of
human,
that.
half chimp, or ape, Ugh.
Yeah. But it gets to the part that gave me a nightmare and made this the scariest ending of all.
Right.
It cuts to him saying, Mama.
Mama. Mama. Mama. Mama.
And then it rewinds back.
Yeah.
And that's the part that got me. It kept like filtering back to the beginning and forward, and forward.
Yeah, it's really bad editing because it's that they want to extend the shot, but because they keep doing the back and forth of rewinding, it's just poorly edited
and creepy as hell.
It is weird. Well, and it doesn't help that it's like Mama, Mama, and I think
it made me think of those creepy baby dolls.
I think it's the doll from Planet of the Apes that they find in the cave.
Oh,
I think that's like I think you're supposed to get that same. It sounds the same.
Yeah, it does.
I think is what the intention actually was to kind of link
maybe
the
creepier.
two. So yeah, the movie ends with if you didn't understand Armando saying your mother and father, you're fully aware by this point that this is baby Milo and he can talk, He can talk. He can talk. He can talk. I can sing.
And it's going to totally screw up the timeline because now they're a couple 100 years ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Well, at least one of them is.
Yeah. So.
And he's going to get busy with other dumb
apes
right. and create an army of somewhat smart apes. Not quite as smart.
We'll find out.
And he'll rule them all with his psychic grog power.
Ooh. I
maybe
like
that's
where
what's
this
gonna
is
happen.
going.
He's already at that evolution stage, so pretty soon that's going to give rise to Grog
Yeah.
ahead of schedule. Because
So where's the
if you
Flash?
think about it, the humans evolved to basically the mental, like, Grog
Became the
moves.
mutants. Yeah, the
So-
telepathic. Yeah.
Why not the apes get some Grog action going?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Grog's a gorilla, but
Yeah, Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd, yeah. So that doesn't fit because those are the dumb ones.
Well, I mean, you have to take some kind of evolutionary leap because even in this movie, it should be the chimps that become dominant.
Yeah.
But then the orangutans and the gorillas also become dominant.
Yeah.
So at some point, evolution just jumped species as well, and
Yeah,
they
That's a good
developed.
point. That's weird.
Because I don't get the impression that any chimp has ever laid down with any orangutan. You know.
And I mean, I could see chimps and orangutans possibly being pets, but not a gorilla.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Unless they need somebody for hard labor, like that can lift heavy stuff.
Yeah,
I guess.
that would be. I'm excited to watch the next movie because you get some of that like domesticated apes. You know.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting.
It's kind of funny, like that. I know it's mentioned in the previous movie.
Yeah.
That you don't see apes with human pets. I know they
Yeah, that
mentioned
would've been kind of
domesticating
fun.
humans was a lost cause. 'Cause
Yeah.
so I think
that's
somebody
right. They
tried
couldn't,
it.
They
maybe.
couldn't do simple tasks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just weird how that. Maybe that's how it was until humans devolved so much
Yeah.
that they were useless other than target practice.
Yeah.
And
I still. I mean, we both did not like the previous movie, but the scenes of the humans being used for target practice and that's still a great scene.
That tells me that they're less than even an animal.
Yeah.
Because we don't even usually treat animals that way, like
No.
as target practice.
No.
I mean, we hunt, but
Yeah.
not as like just target practice.
Yeah, you wouldn't, line up a bunch of deer and just, practice shooting with them.
Or-
I mean,
Well, not normal. I
don't
mean, maybe the military has some secret projects going on that I don't know about.
that could be.
Or there's just some sickos out in the woods somewhere. But
Yeah, I'm
other
sure
than
it's
that,
happened. I'm sure. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some sick freaks, that,
Yeah,
torture animals. And that
future
kind of
serial
stuff.
killers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you want to get into some trivia and pros and cons and stuff?
Sure.
I think I wrote down some trivia.
Okay.
I've already kind of talked about the whole Hassline. Otto Hassline is it's his theory of the bend in space and time, and then kind of he's mentioned in the previous two movies. There was like I said, there was an alternate opening with seeing the destruction of Earth from the point of view of the apes in the rocket, but they cut that. They apparently did film it because I read something of Kim Hunter was saying, yeah, we did shoot some scenes in the rocket. I don't know why they never used them or something. So it'd be interesting to see that alternate opening. There was also an alternate ending to this movie, much darker. Kind of same results of Otto kills the baby, Cornelius kills Otto, and Zira is mauled by dogs. From the police or whoever. They had a pack of search dogs or something, and then Cornelius basically commits suicide by cop. Like takes a fake gun.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say Cornelius kills Otto. Cornelius gets killed by cops, and then Zira kills herself.
Oh,
Like I thought one of them was going to commit suicide or
well,
something.
basically Cornelius does
But, yeah.
by kind of charging at the cops with his hand
I
in
thought,
his pocket.
I thought they'd do it by their own hand and break their own
yeah,
code of.
yeah.
But yeah, I guess that would make sense to have somebody else do it.
One other thing I thought was really interesting was an account from Kim Hunter, again, who plays Zira.
Hater of bananas.
Hater of bananas. But we talked about in the first movie how I had heard or read or seen in some back behind the scene that behind the scenes when it was like downtime, people would stay in their makeup and tend to group in the orangutans would group with orangutans, chimps would group with chimps, that kind of thing. And it's interesting because this is the one movie that there's only that there were 3 apes at the beginning, but they're basically only Roddy McDowell and Kim Hunter in ape costume throughout this movie, and she felt very isolated because the rest of the actors tended to shy away from her, and they felt uncomfortable behind the scenes, hanging out. I think the makeup and the whole costume thing, it really unnerved people. And so she said that, she felt very isolated, which was, I think, unintentional. Yeah. People weren't intending to be like, I don't want to go hang out with her. So it's another one of those behind the scenes psychology, not an experiment because it wasn't, intended to be this way, but it just kind of shows you what people will do, if there's someone who's completely different, that they didn't want to interact with her behind the scenes or whatever. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you could also add to it that she's been in all the movies. She's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So there's just sheer intimidation.
That could be too.
Like if it's a lesser actor that is new.
Sure. And I don't know to what extent that means. I don't know if that means you're, the guy playing Otto and the guy playing Dixon and the woman playing Stevie. Like maybe, hopefully they would at least interact with her. But I'm sure it probably extends out to like the extras probably didn't want to approach her, So. And
a little known fact. She ended up being a method actress and constantly was throwing her feces around.
Nice. I didn't know where you were going with that. I was like, oh, nice little bit of trivia from Patrick.
I said little known fact.
God damn it, you got me again.
That'll keep people away. You think they were just intimidated by the costume, but it was actually the actions.
The constant presence of feces on set.
Hey. If you're going to get in the role, get in the role.
It's nothing Johnny Depp wouldn't have done.
That's right. You were so ready to believe.
I know. I was like, oh, this is great. I don't know where he's going with this. You son of a bitch.
That's what I'm here for. The truth.
Yeah.
The truth.
It's out there.
It smells.
Okay. One other tiny thing I had was... the movie was going to be called The Secret of the Planet of the Apes.
The Secret.
It kind of makes sense because they come to Earth with, I guess they're trying to hide that secret of what happened to the planet and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the title they ended up with.
Yeah.
Escape from. Although the escape is... It's weird, though, because the escape's not really talked about. It's glossed over.
Right.
See, when I finished the last movie, I was thinking this movie is all going to be showing how they escaped.
Right. Yeah.
Just based on the name.
No, but I like that it's completely glossed over in the first 5 minutes. Like, yep, we got out of there.
Yep, somehow got it out of the water, got it running.
Yep.
Milo MacGyver got the spaceship up and running and time traveled with the atomic bomb explosion.
Science!
Everything's explained just by saying science.
Pretty much. I think we're ready
pros, cons.
Yeah, I think we're ready to wrap it up.
Okay.
We'll start with cons.
Yeah, I'd say, man, it was kind of, I just didn't like Otto's character as just so blatantly evil.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, evil for evil's sake.
Yeah, at a certain point. At first, I was on board with him, but then he just.
Yeah.
It was like he was taking it personally, and I couldn't figure out why, but...
Yeah.
And he was just so different than every other human.
Yeah.
Like, he was the only one acting this way.
Yeah.
Everyone else was kind of rational about it. I mean, they got on board somewhat with the whole not letting the baby be born. But I just thought it was weird. Like, he just became, like, the twisting the mustache villain towards the end.
Yeah. Once he's chasing him around the ship, it's pretty much a,
Well, even at the oil field, he's like irate with everyone, and I don't know. It just seemed I was disappointed that his character didn't go as I was hoping it would go.
His motivations weren't clearly defined, or he was just he's our bad guy, so he's going to be a bad guy kind of thing. Yeah, I get that.
And that's basically how he treated them. They're just evil.
Yeah.
I know it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. My kind of a slight con is setting it in modern day LA, and the filming just felt a little made for TV with the score.
Oh yeah.
It just felt, because they weren't on some set with, Ape City and that kind of stuff. Like, just filming it in, at the time, present day LA just felt.
It made me think of Spinal Tap. Like
Okay.
The way it was shot, especially with like the parties. And
Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of handheld and stuff in the
Yeah.
committee when they got it. Yeah.
I don't know.
I get that.
But it's probably because it's in a similar era, and there's
It felt less cinematic, I guess, for me.
because that was supposed to be like a mockumentary,
Right. Yeah.
So it gave me a similar kind of feel
No,
for
yeah,
whatever reason.
Yeah. I get that.
Just popped in my head.
No, that's.
Visual association.
What else you got?
I'd say second con, or should I say con? Was actually Montalban.
Really?
He was like the opposite of Otto. He was just
yes. Okay.
inherently good
Good
for
for
absolutely
good sake.
yeah.
Okay.
Like he was cheesily good. Like,
Okay,
oh,
yeah.
of course I'll risk everything for you.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That he is the opposite of Otto.
He's Otto's like
Wow. Yeah.
bizarro.
Bizarre Otto. Yeah. No, that. I get it. Yeah.
I guess that balanced it out.
Kinda
to have
does,
pure hatred and pure love, I guess. I don't know. So I guess two cons make a pro. I don't know.
Two cons.
Oh, puns galore.
God damn, we're on fire.
Wordplay at its finest.
That's right. Mine's a little one. We already talked about this. Just the poor editing camera trick on Baby Milo when trying to show him say mama.
Oh, yeah. That was nightmare inducing.
Why couldn't they have just given him some peanut butter so he's smacking his lips together and then
It
not
was
have
very
to do
Mr.
the-
Ed because
Yes.
they did that a lot. They'd
Yes.
rewind and forward, rewind forward.
So to me, that's just especially for that to be the end
I
shot.
know.
It really just it didn't ruin it for me, but
That creeped me out.
it's just it's creepy, it's noticeable,
Poorly
it's
done.
poorly done.
Yeah.
'Cause I have no other editing problems with the movie, so to end on a very bad editing effect,
There is one that I noticed when Cornelius gets shot and
Sure.
he screams, and you see the circle where in the mask where
Yeah.
his mouth is. I was like,
Yeah.
ugh.
It does that weird like death. What are they called? Death rattle. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it. Some kind of weird guttural, hiss.
Yeah, that's the other.
But yeah, because you're looking straight down
Yeah.
his mouth.
It was a bad shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I'm ready to go to pros.
Well, I had one other. The score for me is really bad.
Yeah.
It's noticeably like had it been just a so-so score, I'd been fine with it. But for me, it was noticeably like when they first they're doing the opening credits at the beginning. Once they reveal the mask or they take off the helmets, then the score kicks in and they do the credits over it and they do like this kind of quick montage of getting them to the base. When they do the going around town trying on clothes montage, it's also pretty bad. I'd say in the beginning it's probably the worst. Once it gets dark and ominous towards the end, I think it's okay.
Pretty standard and not noticeable.
For me, there were a few points in the movies where to me it was so noticeable and maybe just so 70s. That's probably what I
Well, they were trying to play like happy-go-lucky music, and it was very kitschy kind of 70s.
Yeah, for me, just didn't work, but not enough to ruin it for me. But
Yeah, I noticed it in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then after that,
And
it wasn't too noticeable, so I sort of forgot about it already by the time it was over.
I think that's another thing that made it feel made for TV. Because once they start doing the credits, like they show, Cornelius, and it says Roddy McDowell, like right next to his face, and it's mixed with the music, and then they show Zira, and it says Kim Hunter. So that also made it feel less cinematic.
Yeah, I was waiting for Cornelius for his credit and him just do the thumbs up.
Yeah, it's very that 80s sitcom, like, camera's on you, so you're going to give the camera a look and a finger point, and, so.
Yeah, they should have ended the movie on Montalban laughing and freeze
Yeah, a nice freeze frame would really...
to cap off
Yeah.
the TV vibe.
That's great.
Would have been better than the creepy... Oh, I'm not kidding you. I literally had a nightmare about
That's
that.
crazy.
It was my daughter doing...
Oh,
and like hair just sprouting from her face. I was just like freaking out.
So kind of like the transformation scene in Teen Wolf.
Or Wolf Cop.
Oh.
You're welcome.
The worst movie I've seen in a long time.
What?
That movie was so bad.
So bad it was good.
So bad it was enough to
Okay.
make me... Well, I think I sent you, or Amanda sent you a text or something
Yeah.
immediately after we watched it,
Oh, come on. The sidekick was awesome. He had an awesome transformation at the bar.
All right, listeners.
There was a old lady / beast / shape-shifting thing, whatever it was.
Yeah, I guess we can start talking about Wolf Cop, but is it bestiality if you start having sex with a werewolf?
It was unsettling, so I'd say yeah.
All right, listeners, go out and watch Wolf Cop. I think it's still on Netflix, and then let us know if Patrick's right and it's awesome, or
Oh, it's awesome bad. I'm not saying it's awesome.
right. Okay.
Like, it is horrendous, but I don't know.
So
I laughed a lot during that movie.
Yeah, it was.
They
just
made
too...
a cop car that was the Wolfmobile.
Yeah, but even that for me was like, why are they doing this? Like, what?
Oh, no reason whatsoever. It does absolutely nothing for the movie, but
Yeah.
it made me laugh.
Well, I guess that's.
I was just in the right
matters.
frame of mind for it, I
Gotcha.
think.
So pros.
Yeah, this has been a
for-
tangent and a half. Man, I feel like half of this podcast is just randomness.
I think that's all right.
Pros, I would say just the chance to see the world sort of reversed,
Yeah,
with the apes being the freaks in the world.
that's
instead
one of my pros
humans.
as well. Just the placing the apes in modern LA, even though it appears a little TV, made for TV, but story wise, yeah, I think placing them in human society and playing on those human fears is, I think, really a smart twist.
Well, it's like a big, what if? Like everyone says, like, what if the apes were the ones coming to our planet?
Yeah, and for me, that goes into another probe. Just it resets the whole franchise, because there was nowhere to go on the actual planet, quotes planet of the apes, because it was destroyed. And I guess you could have had maybe the bomb went off and underground was destroyed, and maybe on the surface it was livable, kind of it created another forbidden zone, or
Because they've done underground detonations of atomic bombs, but
so
it was a rocket, so I assumed it got up
that's
into
true.
a shaft of some
but it
sort.
fell down.
Oh, it's true.
So it
yeah.
just, I think, exploded,
Yeah.
So,
Maybe it wasn't that far underneath.
yeah, I don't know.
It's a Apes movie.
Yeah, but I'm glad they didn't just go, on the surface somewhere out of the blast radius, because based on what Zira says, there was no blast radius. The entire planet was was destroyed. So I'm glad that they moved on and found a way to. I mean, time travel is always a kind of a
It's sort of a lazy device.
lazy device, but for me, it worked because it's so glossed over that. Hey, we just got in a ship and it just took us here. We don't know.
We got apes talking. Deal with it, all right?
Exactly. That's the kind of thing, if anyone has a problem with the time travel, you got talking apes in this movie. Pick your suspension of disbelief has to get you beyond the.
Yeah, it's just
the time
hard
travel.
when they make it such a big part of the first one.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole reason. And even this one, it's called Escape from the Planet of the Apes, but you don't know how they escape other than we just did.
Yeah.
Milo
Milo just scienced the hell out of that whole situation.
But yeah, I could let that go.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just at this point, after seeing so many,
Yeah.
I'm just I'm not worried about it any longer.
Mm-hmm.
And so my next pro would be my man with the plan, Cornelius.
Yes.
Stepping up. Finally.
Yes, I'm glad you're on board with Cornelius.
Don't know why he was on the cover of the first movie, but he earned it
Yeah.
on this one, and I don't think he was.
Yeah, and it's
think Zira
it's
was.
unfortunate. Yeah, it should have been Zira on the cover of the first one, because she was kind of the driving force for a lot of the first movie, and
But I mean, Cornelius was the one that's like, Zira had to calm him down,
yeah,
which is the opposite of their normal dynamic, which I kind of dug. So that was a definite pro.
right on. Mine kind of mirrors that. My last pro is the performances by Bradford Dillman, who played Dixon, Lewis Dixon. Roddy McDowell, of course. I think he's amazing in that ape, in that persona, in character, in costume, and under the makeup. He just sells the hell out of the performance. Kim Hunter as well. Like it's her last ape movie, but and then Eric Braeden. He does a good Otto. He's convincingly evil, even though it is just evil for evil's sake. I think he sells it well enough. Good performance, I think.
Yeah.
So that's my last pro.
Okay, my last one is just the cliffhanger you get with this one as to where does little Milo go, and how does that impact the next few movies?
Okay.
Just because the last movie ended with what the heck do we do now?
Yeah, nowhere
Has
to go.
tried his best to destroy the franchise, but
Yeah.
because I don't know, it could go in a million directions because I've never seen any of the following movies, but it opens it up, like you were saying,
Completely,
it reinvigorates the franchise. So I just like that. I mean, it was unfortunate to see the Zira and Cornelius perish in this one.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see how a smart ape will handle the world on his own with a bunch of quote unquote dumb apes.
Yeah. And there's a lot of implications, like if you are going nature versus nurture, this baby is going to grow up knowing that his parents were killed in because of hate and fear. So that could
shape
how he
perceives.
grows up. So I don't want
I'm
to
assuming
spoil anything, but I take that with you when you watch the next one.
Yeah, I'm assuming Montalban's going to explain
Yeah.
like what happened to his parents, because I'm sure he's going to find out Milo can talk pretty soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully in a less creepy manner.
Mama.
Con.
You
gotta do it.
You have to.
That's everyone's impersonation of Con.
Yeah.
For our younger viewers, Montalban is the grandfather in Spy Kids.
Nice. All right, you want to do some overall thoughts and then ratings?
Sure. Overall, way better feeling from this movie. It was a solid movie. I'd enjoy watching it again, honestly. It was pretty fun to watch. I mean, you get to see how it is on the other foot, and they sort of... The good thing about it is that Zira and Cornelius kind of know what to expect because they've seen the other way around.
Yeah.
Although Zira is a little hot-headed and doesn't seem to follow Milo's advice at all about piping down, but that's sort of Zira's MO from the get-go.
So you could say what to expect while expecting?
Wow. File.
I think I broke Patrick.
Man, I'm coughing like Kevin Smith in his podcast.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, you were saying.
Oh, man. That was good. Oh, what to expect when you're expecting. That's pretty good. She was pregnant. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah. I just had to say file it because you looked at me like that. Because you're like, eh?
Yeah.
Overall, I'd give it a 3. Yeah, just good movie.
Okay.
Nothing special. Like, it's not like a great movie or anything, but it was just fun to watch. Solid sit down and watch rental kind of thing. But I would say that, as unfortunate as it is, well, no, I think you could skip the second one and just watch the first one and the third one, honestly.
So I think they present enough information that the planet was destroyed. You
Yeah.
don't have to find out
And the
how
second
or what
one's
led
mostly
to
the
it.
first one redone.
Yeah.
Same basic story of
Yeah.
capture and escape. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll give it a 3.
Cool. Well, for me, I mean, like the Ape franchise as a whole, it's kind of like a big explosion. Like it just came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was the beginning was huge, but it burnt big and bright, but quickly ran out of momentum. I mean, by the second movie, they were seemingly out of ideas. They had to go through a ton of rewrites, and it just fizzled out. With nowhere left to go.
Well, they did so quickly too.
Exactly. So, when your entire, you're out of places to go by 2 movies, I mean, that's pretty poor planning.
Yeah.
But,
It was a cash grab for the second one, like we
Right.
talked about, so
yeah.
it wasn't really planned.
Yeah. And in, today's society, franchises are everything when it comes to movies. I mean, we're seeing all that's going on with comic book, properties, and everything has to be a cinematic franchise. So, but this is kind of before all that. But they managed to completely do a 180 and, I think, enable there to be a future for this franchise. For me, like I said, there were very few cons. I mean, a little bit of editing, a little bit of just the score wasn't right for me, and just the way they filmed it was a little too made for TV. But aside from that, I love the story and how they continue this franchise. Like I've said, the performances are good for me, and I gotta give it a 4. I really enjoy this movie. I think I like Planet of the Apes better. I gave that one a 5. But this one is, I really, really enjoy this one. I could definitely rewatch it, like you said. So
I'm going to change mine to 3.5 just based on that revitalization.
okay,
Because it's a good movie and it sort of saved a franchise. So yeah, I'd bump it up to 3.5.
okay. So 4 and a 3.5. That should give us a 3.75 overall.
Yeah, math.
Yeah.
Helping us rate and judge things.
That's right.
God, math is such a jerk. Always
worst.
judging. Okay. So,
All right. So where do we go from here?
you guessed it. Freaking Bond.
If it's not an ape movie, it's a Bond movie.
This Diamonds Are Forever.
Correct. Yeah.
With the
Also
return.
from 1971. So it's our first. It's our first movie or first. I don't know. First year that has had more than one movie. So before now, we've just been jumping year to year.
That's right. This is the only 2 movies released in 1971.
The only 2 movies. You had 2 options in 1971.
Back in the day, we could only afford to put 2 talkies up
That's right.
per year. Summer and winter.
Yeah. I think this was May, and then Diamonds Are Forever was November or December. So
oh, damn,
yeah, it's,
good. Well, Diamonds, it's a good holiday present, so that's probably cross
get
marketing.
it that subliminal
Yeah.
message. So yeah, we're heading back to visit our old buddy Sean Connery in his last official outing as James Bond.
The original ape.
The original ape himself, that hairy son of a bitch. Oh man, can you imagine?
Even the apes would be like, "Whew,
Yeah, tone it down, buddy.
jeez."
Quit
Look
hitting
at
our
that-
women.
Would you look at that freak? He's the hybrid.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh right. From last episode, we were talking about how bad Planet Beneath was, and I said I wanted to steal the "How did this get made?" their little second opinions
I forgot
thing,
about that.
and go to Amazon reviews.
Let's see who had rated this.
I
one.
was dumbfounded. There are more 5-star reviews for that movie than any other rating. It's
There's a lot of depressed people.
I think I forget what all the numbers were, but there were 76 5-star ratings, and none of them were ironic and oh, I love this movie. It's so good. They were legitimate. This movie is it, speaks to the condition of like fear and good versus evil, and it's like, are you people insane?
Yeah, you can do that without.
There were not nearly enough. Like, so I'm not even gonna read any legitimate 5-star reviews from that because there were too many, and they were just. It's insane that people like on Amazon, Beneath gets like a 3 or a 3.5 rating out of 5, and it's like, you people are crazy. So I don't get it.
They're coming after you now.
Yeah. Send that hate mail to me. That's fine. I'll take it.
Crazy is a relative term. I try to understand my fellow humans.
But anyways, that's something I said we were going to talk about. But once I saw that, I was like, there's no making sense out of any of that. So, but I guess we can move on to Diamonds Are Forever. Little helpful tip is you can find them. Most of the Bond movies right now are on Hulu.
Yeah, you can watch it for free on your computer. I think. You have to have a subscription to watch it on any other device.
Oh, okay. I forgot that's how Hulu worked, but
at least that's how it used to work. But I've had a subscription for a while, so you can find that, and if you want to backtrack in episodes, you can find a couple of those older Bonds. On Hulu as well.
Yeah, they don't have any of the new ones, but that won't be an issue since we're not there yet. But most of the movies we've covered, I think, are on Hulu as far as Bond goes.
Yeah. And then the Apes movies are in HBO Go, or if you have, Xfinity on demand, you can watch it. That's how I watched it.
Cool.
Totally legally.
Nice.
So just a tip on how to watch the movie and have it ready and viewed by the time we are ready with Diamonds Are Forever.
Right on. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, we're at Real Comic Heroes. Send us some email at realcomicheroes@gmail.com, and we'll talk to you later.
Yep, see you guys.
You've been waiting for him. Asking for him. Now he's here.
Who are you?
My name is Bond. James Bond.
He's back in a new Bond spectacular.
Kill him! Welcome to hell, Blofeld.
He's back.
Good evening.
And we're back to what great movies are all about.
Hey, what the hell is this? Hey, listen, you can't do this to me. I've got friends in this town.
Outrageous, fun-making thrills.
I didn't know there was a pool down there.
He's back. The character who runs rings around his enemies in Diamonds Are Forever. Forever, forever. And they're back. Some rare facets of female bondage.
Well, that's quite a nice little nothing you're almost wearing. I approve.
I don't dress for the hired help.
Starring Jill St. John, Charles Gray, and he's back as Blofeld, 007 style.
Good evening, 007.
From the Diamond Territory of South Africa.
Curious how everyone who touches those diamonds seems to die.
The canals of Amsterdam. To the gaming halls of Las Vegas.
Hi, I'm Plenty.
But of course you are.
Plenty O'Toole.
Named after your father, perhaps?
to the rocket sites of Nevada. Sean Connery, alias James Bond 007, is back in action.